Okay, mould making using alginate. This is alginate, it's a powder. It looks kind of greyish when you weigh it out, but as you'll see it changes colour when you add water to it. You use 1 part alginate to 3 parts water. So I've measured the water out already, and then I've also got a little, it's just the bottom of a bottle really, but it's good for using as a mould because what I'm going to do is a pinky finger, and as you can see there's plenty of room in that, so it's a great mould shape and size. So the first thing to do is to know that you must act really quickly because this will set really quickly. So when I add the powder to the water, I'm going to mix really quickly, so if I don't have time to talk, that's why. Okay. I don't know if you can see that, but it's turned a lovely pinkish colour. We've got to get all the lumps out before it sets. It's really important that all the lumps come out and get it into that container very quickly. I mean, I might have to go with this, even though it's still a little bit lumpy because it's going to start to set soon. So here we go, straight in there, all that lovely pink goop, and you need all of it because I've measured it very carefully. Okay. And then quickly, while it's still pink, get your finger in there and wait. And I'll show you in just a second, it doesn't take long to set. As it sets, it changes colour again. So at the moment, I'm just holding really steadily because that's important too. Hold it steady with my hand. It's already changing colour. I think the sun is helping today. It's quite warm out here. Can you see that colour change? Can you? You see that it's gone a greyish colour again. It's definitely not pink anymore. I'm just going to leave it in there for a second longer. You want to wait until it's like completely set so that when you take your finger or whatever it is that you're moulding out, it doesn't collapse inwards. It's fairly set now, as you can see, it's attached to my finger. There. So, a little wiggle, and there we go. I have a perfect mould of my finger, which I'm going to cast in a little while. Okay, now we're going to use this Kryolan silicone rubber, which comes in 2 parts, to make your prop finger, as you do. It's a bit like Artex. It's really important that you don't cross-contaminate the two, so use a different spoon for each. And then I've also got a silicone colorizer here that I'm going to use just to make it slightly more flesh coloured and less clear, because that helps, even though you're going to paint it and change the colour anyway, it helps, it gives it a basic skin tone, which is really useful. So I'm going to mix these up and then I'll be back with you. I'm working quickly for 2 reasons. One is that my neighbour's really noisy, and the other is that it's very hot out here. So we're going to take the same size of spoon for both, so we know we're getting the same amount. So level that off and put it in there. And you want the same amount of the other one, so as you can see I have another spoon, so I'm not putting this spoon into this pot. Okay, and then the same for this one. Let's get a flat level spoon, make sure it's the same amount, level it off, and we're safe, and add that one to the mix. There we go. Just leave that to drip off there. And then when that's in there, we're just going to mix the two together, like you would with Artex. Right, now I've mixed this thoroughly. It's really important that it's thoroughly mixed. And then what I'm going to do is add a bit of the colorizer. As you can see at the minute it's just a clear. So we add a little bit of this, not too much because you can affect the texture of the silicone. So, you know, start with a couple of drips. And then you need to add a little bit more because it's not colouring up, you can do. But actually it goes a long way. There you go, we've got a kind of fleshy colour coming there. Okay. And then the next thing is when it's fully mixed and it's the colour you're happy with, is to pour it into your mould, which you can do. You have to be really quite careful, that's not fully mixed at all. So I'm going to mix it a little bit more. Okay, you have to be really quite careful, particularly if you've not got something with a spout to pour it from, like me. And I'm pouring it. Can you actually see me pouring that in there or not? I mean, that's more than enough, as you can see. Okay. And then we tap it a few times. You can see the bubbles rising to the top, and as you tap it, hopefully those bubbles will come to the top and you won't end up with bubbles inside your mould. So I'm just going to do this for a little while and it's going to sound awful, so I'm going to pause. Okay, so I've left this to set now. It takes half an hour, sometimes it takes slightly less, and then you can just peel it. Actually, this extra bit here is really useful because it helps to peel it out. And there we go. That is got a few bubbles, so I perhaps could have tapped it a bit more, but that's a little rubber finger mould. There we go.